Hi guys, we are live. Regina and your girl Vanessa. This is Chemo Glow, where the glow doesn't define me, I define the glow. We're just doing a chat just because I tried to do this the other night and yeah, it just didn't work. So I had to pull Vanessa in because I got to do what's best for me. I do the chatting, and as you can see, she's my backup dancer back there. So this is just because chat. If anybody comes in, that'll be great. If not, Vanessa's upset because I got her up late tonight. So, hey, see, Vanessa, I told you, Keisha's here.
Keisha needs to be
Keisha
asleep too. How about that? Keisha, you need to be asleep too.
Hey, Keisha, we got a couple of people on here. This is just because I want to tell you what's coming up with Chemo Glow. First of all, just celebrated with my girl Talanya. She is celebrating 10 years, 10 years of thriving. Oh my goodness. We had a surprise Zoom thing for her where all the people that she's touched over the years had actually signed on, came, and we surprised her. It was supposed to be a taco tequila night. And that's probably why I shouldn't have tried to do a live because it was a taco tequila night. Um, but I'm
Only some of them had the tequila.
What'd you say?
I said only some of y'all had the tequila.
Well, see,
That's why
Jill
you
is.
got all bold and was like, let me go live.
Well, see, Jill is on right now. She was there, and she had a glass of wine. We were celebrating Talaya,
But
right?
the question is, was Jill on the live with you?
Yeah, she was on the live. She had to go because her family was there. See? Oh,
Now, Jill, you
oh,
should
on
have
the
told her better.
on the live. No, Jill wasn't on the live. She was on the Zoom.
No, I know she was on the Zoom. I was talking about the live.
No, it was just me saying, "Hi, am I live? Am I live?" And everybody was like, "Yes, you're live." So I deleted the video. But Talanya has touched like so many people. And I just wanted to celebrate her 10 years. I met her like, man, right at the very beginning of what I was going through. And Jill too. Like we all met and Jill did it big for her 10 year, like all the way big. She even offered us a hotel room for our girls because we would had to bring the girls up with us to Greensboro or High Point. I think that's where you were at.
That would
So,
have been a little fun trip.
oh, but the girls were maybe 3 at the time. So it'd have been something else. But I'm hoping to get Jill on one of our podcasts because she does a lot. And Jill, if you want to join us tonight, you can. Vanessa's looking at me like, you really going to bring people in? Yeah, just shoot me your email
She
address.
said, no, Jill, let me tell you what she's about to do. She invited you to come on, and then she's going to look at me and say, Vanessa, can you get her in? And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, Jill and them even had babysitters. They were doing it live. For her 10 year, they did it really, really big. And I hate that COVID, kind of crushed our plans for Talanya. But I'm so happy that her husband, her mom, you did the PowerPoint because she would have only had like 2 pictures if I would have did it.
You said-
And Jill says she's just gonna listen tonight. She must be like how I was earlier, like this hair. Yeah. But if anybody wants to join us, you can, because this is just because. But I'm hoping to get everybody who's interested in Chemo Glow and would like to talk about what they've been through or what they're doing to volunteer um, with the Glow. It's so interesting. But we have a couple things coming up. Cassandra, her podcast just came out. Life is meant to be lived. She will be doing a live with me on, I think, the 27th, right, Vanessa?
I think so. You're the timekeeper of the calendar. I'm the electrical person. You're the timekeeper of the calendar. So
And
if you
two,
say it's the 27th, I'll go with the 27th.
I'm gonna say it's on a Thursday and not this Thursday. How about
Yes,
that?
yes. Uh-huh.
That we do know. And that one's going to be real interesting because she currently just had surgery. So she needs another 2 weeks. And then we'll go up on the 27th. And I'm so happy that she's joining me live. And then our next one that's coming up is called Cancer, COVID, and Care. All right? The three C's. Cancer, COVID, and care. I see you have cancer, COVID, and cancer in the banner, but that's okay.
Okay. Whatever.
Because it
One
says that,
era. Okay, one era. I can't.
but it's going to be called Cancer, COVID, and Care with RN Erica Mack. I'm actually going to just release her podcast early. It was supposed to come out on September 1st, but I'm going to go ahead and release it probably tomorrow just because we're in the midst of COVID. And I did that podcast in April with her, and I'm looking forward for her. So Keisha says that we are frozen. Well, that's not good. So if we're frozen, come
Get a
back.
good pace.
So I hope we're not. Vanessa, hit something in the comment over there from Chemo Glow on our comment and see if we can get where we're not frozen.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. I'll just listen. All right, that is definitely.
She said, you froze.
Are we still frozen? We probably are. All right, well, we have three people looking on. I don't know who those three people are, but I'm happy to have you. Um, so again, Erica will be coming on and she'll be doing her live hopefully in September. She's been pretty busy at the hospital. She works on the cancer floor or chemotherapy floor. She is a nurse and great. Jill says we're not frozen. We're wonderful. So she'll be coming on. And then Toma, I cannot wait to do her podcast. We're trying to work out our schedule. She is a 11-year lung cancer survivor. She's also a lay navigator at UNC
Wow.
Cancer Center. She sits on so many boards and does so many things. And I can't wait for you guys to hear her story. I know I've been doing a lot of breast cancer because, hey, that's what it is for me. But I can't wait to branch out because my mother battled lung cancer as well. And so I'm also stepping out doing a caregiver one. That one's coming out soon with who's that with? You can tell me because it's your
Tanisha Sanders.
Tanisha Sanders, right? So that one will be coming out definitely September 1st. And that's from the caregiver side, taking care of her father while he was going through cancer. So just the caregiver side, I want to do different things because we know about breast cancer, big, pink, all that stuff. But I actually want to actually interview some people who are not in my immediate group. Not just everybody that I've met during this time, but just open my eyes to other things that are going on. So guys, please make sure you like, follow Chemo Glow. If you see us on Apple Podcasts, please leave a review because that is the best place for us to our platform. We now have our YouTube channel. Thanks to my girl Cassandra Son's telling me it's a shame that I don't have one already. So check us out, Chemo Glow on YouTube. On YouTube, you'll see our lives. You'll see the podcast is broken up in three things. And then you also see my glow moments. My glow moments are actually videos I did of myself during the process. So you'll see some moments from when I was going through treatment and pregnant, when I was also, just going through treatment, different things going on. Some of them are very personal. It was just how I was feeling at the time. So please make sure you check us out. on Chemo Glow on our YouTube channel and anywhere that you can listen to podcasts. Anywhere, just check us out.
And let me
So
just say,
go ahead.
shift in there a little bit. If there's
Yes.
any ideas that anyone has of subjects that they would like to hear discussed on Chemo Glow, please put some suggestions out there for us. That would be
Mm-hmm.
great. It would be great help, very helpful.
Yes, that is. I'm so open right now because there's so much going on in the world, and people are still having to go through treatment during this time. Like cancer didn't stop because COVID said, "Hey, I'm here." You know, treatment didn't stop because COVID said, "I'm here." Treatment might have stopped because they didn't want you to come in because of COVID. So what do we do with that? So it's going to be interesting to hear Erica talk about COVID, cancer, and care, or actually, it's cancer, COVID, and care. Thank you for fixing that, Vanessa. That's why you the V. That's why you the chemo glow producer. I love that. All right. But I did want to bring up one other thing, or maybe two other things, because we're just chatting about your experience just recently.
Are you talking to me?
I'm talking to you like you're the only one on the screen.
Are
Like
you talking
everybody
to me?
else is, we only
Are
have
you
two people
talking to
listening.
me? Yes, yeah. So my experience is, I am still high risk even after the surgery. So I have to get a mammogram and a MRI done, rotating out every 6 months. So I went to my last mammogram. They did see something, and of course they said they need to do a biopsy. I don't know if we're getting a lot of back feedback, but I hear it. But
Mm-mm.
they had to do a biopsy because there was tissue in there that was pulling.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing I thought about is, here we go again.
Yeah.
So, the doctor, she was just explaining this stuff to me, and she said, "Do you have any questions?" I said no, because what I really wanted to say to her is, hell no. I don't know why you coming in here telling me this junk again,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
So what did they ask you to do?
So I had to get a biopsy. Um, but I think the biggest issue that was forefront in my head, well, of course,
Vanessa, turn
I
your
definitely,
volume down on your end because I think that's where it's coming from.
I can't hear you anymore though.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me? Did you
I
hear
can
the
hear you.
backup?
I can still hear you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I think the biggest issue, one of the biggest issues, of course, you definitely don't want cancer, but it's the price of the biopsy.
Mm-hmm.
I got the call from the financial person, and he said, "I just want to go and talk to you about this. After I looked at your insurance."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Okay." And he said, "Well, let me tell you what your out-of-pocket pay is." I said, "Okay." And he said, "That'll be $1,200." I was like,
Out of pocket,
"It
that's your
figures.
copay?
It figures. That's after insurance."
Oh,
So
wow.
he said, he goes through, when you come in, you can put 100 down, and then you can make a payment plan. And I'm gonna tell you, I was like, fine, whatever, because what else are you gonna say?
Yeah.
And the day I went in there to make a payment plan, I put the $100 down, and the girl said, "Okay, well, what payment plan do you want to come up with?" And I wanted to tell her, zero. Does that work for you guys? Because it works for me. Great.
And the
So
scary
she
thing is you have to go in there knowing that you have to pay that co-payment, but you got to go in there not knowing if you have cancer or
correct,
recurrence of cancer. Okay,
correct.
keep going.
Absolutely. So she's like going in her little computer, doing all of that. And then she's like, first she says, yeah, so it has to be a minimum of $50. I said, that's fine. And then she's doing her thing and she's like, oh, it's a minimum of $95. And there was a woman standing in back of her or sitting in back of her, and I think she was training. And immediately I was PO'd. I was PO'd. So I said to her, well, I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And she just looked at me because she's waiting for me to say something different.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. So for 12 months, that's ridiculous. So in the long run, I just gave her the one card, my
Mm-hmm.
flex card, and I said, we'll see how long that lasts on the flex card. But the great news is there was no cancer. That
Yay.
was the absolute great news. And
But
I
you had
said
to
to
wait.
Regina, I
You had to,
said, I wonder
yeah.
if I could get a refund on my damn money because
Like,
I
thank
still got
you,
to
but
pay
please.
the $100. The
Better
hundred
safe than
dollars for 12
sorry.
months.
Look, Vanessa, I hate to cut you off, but Jill actually wants to come in. She put her email address. Can you shoot her an invite?
You see, I knew she was going to do this. I knew she
I
was going
love it.
to. I knew she
Look,
was going to be like,
while you were
yeah.
talking, she had enough time to spruce up, you know?
Oh, did she? Did she? Okay, let me
Yeah.
see if I
I'm only
can do
assuming.
this.
So she's gonna invite you. You see her email address? Is it
Yeah. Oh, shoot. I didn't mean to do that.
you
Hold on.
all right. But even the wait, Vanessa, from the time you're being told that you have um, possible um, cancer cells growing and you have to wait for the biopsy. And I remember calling you and you were like, I'm decompressing. And I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, no, I'm not accepting that. What's going on? And then you're telling about everything else in your life. And then you say, what'd you say? Oh, and then I have to have a biopsy. Wait a minute. You just gonna throw that in the middle of all the other stuff that's going on? No, ma'am. So I waited as long as I could on the day of your biopsy, like 11 o'clock. Like, yo, I know you don't want to hear from me, but guess what? I'm calling. I'm texting. And so, um, I'm really excited about Jill coming in because they're working on. She works in Greensboro like no other person. Like she really, really, really does her thing out there. And I'll let her tell you how we met. I'm still going to do a podcast with Jill, but yeah, she is really doing her thing. So I'm so excited about Jill, and her daughter's going to Harvard. I'm just saying. Somebody texting me? Who's texting me? Yeah. Are you texting that to me, Vanessa?
Oh, I was texting it to myself, but I
Okay.
texted it to you at the same time.
Yes, you should get it in your email. You're going to get an invite, just like a Zoom call. And you're going to come into our broadcasting studio.
It's sent to her, so she should get
It's
that.
it's sent. It should be coming, Jill. See, Vanessa, don't you like the just because? Like, let's chat just because? Don't you like it?
I love just because of chatting. What up? You know what I mean. What I not sure navigating all these different things is
but
another.
this is how we learn, right?
This is how I learn.
That's like bars with my husband.
What'd you say?
My husband always says, when I say we're gonna do something, he be like, that means I'm gonna do something. As long as you know.
Correct. Correct.
Hey, you gonna bring Jill into studio? Yay! Testing, testing.
Hi, Jill.
Hey guys,
Hi.
I did not clean up, spruce up or nothing, but you guys were talking, and I was like, oh my
Hey,
gosh, I wish.
girl. That's
And
okay. You look at me now, they're like, oh my God.
Hello.
I came into my bedroom because my husband and I, we were sitting out there both working on our laptops, and I
Uh-huh.
didn't want to bother him, so I just came
Well,
in here.
thank you. How did we meet? How did we meet? Do you
We met in Houston
mm-hmm.
at the walk.
Sisters?
It was actually the conference. I was there for the conference. I think you came in for the actual walk.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Correct? You came in for the actual walk, and we met because the two women who I was with Sisters Network had to leave on emergency. Both of them
Mm-hmm.
had to leave on emergency, and I was left alone. And
Oh
Raleigh
yeah.
Durham took me in under their wing.
Oh.
So that's actually how we met, because you had come in with them, didn't you?
Yep. I flew in to Texas. And I was quite sick at the time, but I was determined.
Yes, I remember. I remember we having a pause for you to get some rest, sit down,
Oh
and
yes.
get some breaks. And yeah, I was just so enthralled with your story, though, about how you just got married and the whole process of it. And
Yeah.
everybody's journey is different, and it's just interesting to hear
Yeah.
someone else's story.
Yeah. Well, I'm so happy that you stopped in to chat with us and you're working on a caregiver
I was interested in the fact that you guys spoke about that, because that's what
thing.
we are working on here in Greensboro, and we just not have not been having good luck with it. Um, we've been trying to work on this for about a year,
Mm-hmm.
and what we've done is we try to just a specific caregivers support group, and this was for all cancers.
Yes.
And my husband was one of the oncologists, was the facilitator,
Uh-huh.
and they brought my husband in because he was so like he was so knowledgeable and helpful when I
Mm-hmm.
went through that. They felt like he could really give some insight to, and this was mainly for men, the
Yeah.
men that were coming to this. Um and but that only happened like once or twice, and
Mm-hmm.
um it just didn't pan out. And so now we have another thing called Conversations with a Purpose. And
Yes.
that again is a support group, but it's a virtual support group.
Mm-hmm.
We also have had implemented a program called oh gosh, caring for our caregivers. I don't remember what it's called, but what it is we have these bags, and in it is just like a bottle of water or a candy bar or a fruit bar or something. But it's also a packet that has like a lot of local resource information, more specifically, like local restaurants,
Mm-hmm.
because they can't come into the cancer center. A
Uh-huh.
lot of them just drop them off and go park in the parking lot. So we've given them like different activities to do, just like a coloring book, adult coloring book with
Yeah.
adult people, that kind of deal. But again, it just didn't kick off like we thought it would. And that main thing was because, and this was our feedback we're getting, is
Uh-huh.
the valet people who were supposed to be giving them out said that they just didn't have time to give them out. When they would offer them to some people,
Is
they would give them back
volunteer
and say, "Oh,
hours.
I don't need this." So we've been trying some things, and we're just kind of like, like really need some feedback on from the community, because we hear, the doctors are hearing that, they're struggling, and the social workers are hearing that caregivers are struggling. But I
What do you
mean,
do? What
yeah,
hospital are you what hospital are you affiliated with?
Cone Health.
All right, that's not connected with UNC at all, is it?
No, no,
Okay.
no,
Well,
Cone
I
Health.
all right. So I'm affiliated with UNC. I'm actually the vice president of their patient advisory board, and they
Okay.
a amazing, like amazing caregiver group. And I think they were on the Today Show as well. And their motto, like if you look up UNC Cancer Hospital Patient and Family,
Okay, I'm ready to get my notebook so I can
okay.
take.
And then even after, if you want to call me after this, I'll give you more information on it. But we have an amazing caregiver group. But the hardest thing is finding volunteers that can volunteer at certain hours. Most people can't volunteer until after 5 o'clock.
And they're
So
volunteering to do.
they're volunteering. We right now we have a program going on where we are feeding the doctors, the nurses, the people who are in receiving treatment. Every Wednesday, we drop off lunches. Like even with our advisory group, we meet once a month and we have separate groups that go out and do things in the community or for the community. Now, COVID has actually pushed us in a little bit, but even the lady that I'm going to be interviewing for Toma, who's a lung cancer survivor of 11 plus years, she is a lay navigator. And what that is, she used to go into the room, speak to the patients, find out where that bridge is. Because the caregivers always, like, I feel like they're always the last one to know, but they're the first one on the front line for the person going through. So my
Mhm.
husband was always there. And he made it where you knew he was always there. But some caregivers don't know what to ask or how to ask. They have
Mhm.
so much going
Mhm.
on at home. So just like
Mhm.
your husband was invited to be a part of the caregiver group, my husband was invited to answer some questions, just to see if they can get something started. And they were able to get something started, but it did take a while. But it took a lot of caregivers being interested. And so
How did you reach the caregivers?
through the lay navigating part where we're actually talking to the doctors and saying, hey,
You
if
said
you
lay
know anybody.
navigator.
Yeah. So I was a lay navigator. That's just someone who is the bridge to our resource center. So if you have a resource center, that's a great place to go. The Cancer Resource Center is amazing. That way they
What do you have in the resource center?
do you have one?
No, I'm asking what is in your resource center. I don't think we have one.
Oh, the UNC Cancer Resource Center has everything from
Okay,
um,
I'll look it up. Is it on
look
their
it up.
website?
It's on their
Okay.
website. Yep. It has everything in there. But the good thing is you're able to connect with someone. And we were able to connect with
Mhm.
doctors, nurses, and we said, hey, if you know someone who's interested in giving of their time, that's how we built our patient group.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
I was interested because I seen what the resource center can do for me. So it's asking that everybody on your team, when they know that something is going on, that you actually ask them, hey, are you interested on just, having some time with us? Because caregivers, they are always left out. And like Jocelyn said, caregivers, there's a checklist that could help them. They give you all that information at the beginning of your when you're being diagnosed, right? They give you all this
Mhm.
information, but caregivers have to take that all in. So it's starting with the doctors, the nurses, your nurse navigators, and say, hey, we're here. We're trying to build this group. I don't know how effective it's going to be right now with COVID out there, but
Mhm.
don't stop trying, Jill, because we definitely need more places and more people like you doing what you're doing.
I think
Okay.
the late navigators too are everything because I'm gonna tell you, even with my dad, I had Regina and then she got me connected to people. But when we got connected to that lay navigator, she really, or was it a guy? I can't remember if it's a guy. He really started the movement. Like we just laid it all on out on him. We were frustrated. We felt like we were being bounced around. Doctors were speaking in language we didn't understand. So when we got to, they kept saying lay navigator, and I said, well, I need that information because that's who I want to speak to. And when we got to them, they kind of just guided, well, you need to speak to this person and I'll get you to this person. So I think that lay navigator is everything.
Yeah, the resource. They're your main
Well,
resource.
what we have where I am is we have the program that I'm actually affiliated with, the Alight
Hmm.
Program. And what we do is we are specifically breast, but we've also now opened up to GYN.
Mm-hmm.
And what we provide is we provide like financial resources, educational resources, peer
Mm-hmm.
mentoring type program. We have what's called an Alight Program. And what we do is we match up someone who's been fully trained, who's been through breast cancer, whatever their treatment is. But, we have a training program that they do go through. And we will match them up with somebody who's newly diagnosed. If you're coming in, you're meeting with the doctor, you walk out and you're like, what just happened? Um, we ask them, do you want to speak with an Alight guide? And we tell them what it is. And, they say yay or nay. And if they do, then I will match them up with someone who, my key thing is there are three things I'm very specific about: age range,
Mm-hmm.
race, and treatment plan.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're having a mastectomy, but the person you're talking to had a lumpectomy, the questions aren't going to be so easily answered.
Yeah.
And so that's one program that we have. And then we have a journey binder that we give them that has all local resource information, where to get wigs, where these doctor's offices are, who the doctors are, that you'll be dealing with locally. We have a Wednesday multidisciplinary clinic when a newly diagnosed patient comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we usually have 4 in the morning, 4 in the afternoon, every week, guaranteed brand new patients, just
Wow.
in Beaufort County.
And what's the
And
name of your place? What's the name of the agency again that you're working?
I work for the Alight Program, ALIGHT.
Okay.
And
All right.
we are a program at Cone Health Cancer Center.
All right. So you are the resource center there.
I believe that that's what I was trying to get information to see if this is what was
Yeah.
if this is the same thing. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a lot of one-on-one patient interaction. I do have a lot by telephone. I'm mostly doing some matching,
Mm-hmm.
research type information. I do here lately. I've been getting phone calls, and some of them I'm like, "So when are you coming in to meet with the doctor?" And so on our Wednesday multidisciplinary program, when they come in, if you come in the morning, you're going to meet with your oncologist, you're going to meet with
Mm-hmm.
the radiation oncologist, you're going to meet with and they're all going to come to you. They've been there since 5 o'clock in the morning,
Yes.
discussing the cases of the day
Yeah.
and coming up with treatment plans. And you'll meet with the physical therapist, you'll meet with the geneticist, you'll meet with the chaplain or social worker.
Yeah.
So you meet with a bunch of people that day. So that's a lot of information to process. If
Mhm.
you don't have somebody with you processing that information or taking notes, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you, I went in with two of the oncologists on for the last 2 weeks. I've gone twice, and I am just incredibly amazed, especially one doctor in particular, how thorough they are, the notes they take for the patient.
Mm-hmm.
And now
Oh, that's nice.
when I went through in 2009, my doctor did the same thing, and that's about the only thing I have left from that time is his notes.
Yes.
But the fact that they still do it and how detailed they do it, just it really, it really did leave a great impression on me. Even though it happened with me, I just felt
Mm-hmm.
like they did a lot more and how important it is right now. Because I had
Mm-hmm.
my husband with me. But if you're in there alone, I've given people my phone to say, here, FaceTime, because reception's bad in there.
Yeah.
It's so hard right now for them. And
Breaks your heart. The nurse that we're going to be talking with, she is that nurse that's in there because the family members can't be in there. And the stories that she talks about, and that one's coming up next. Really listen to that podcast because it's scary, especially when you're in there and you're getting that news and you can't even call out because the reception is bad. I remember when Vanessa went for her appointment, I said, FaceTime me, call me, do something because I want to be there. I physically couldn't be there, but I want to be there because you don't know what is going to come from those test results, right?
Yeah.
and you can't have anybody beside you at that time. And it sounds like your program is doing what UNC's program is doing. It is, but getting tied in with those doctors, letting them see your face. That's what's important. Get on some
Yeah.
of the boards, and that's where we like to sit on different boards. We have someone from our resource center or from our group, our board, that sits on different boards throughout the hospital. That's how you get connected. And just like right now, Jocelyn, one of my dear friends, one of her friends is going through cancer, and it is not fun. And her heart is over there breaking for her friend, because not being able to help the family at the time, it's so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And caregivers not knowing what to do. They give you this checklist, but you really have to call and say, hey, I need someone to walk me through this. I need someone to walk me through this, because I'm not able to comprehend what you guys are talking about right now.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good nurse, it's a good doctor. I mean, it was a nurse that told me to get my second opinion. She was like, no, sweetie, it's in your lymph nodes. You just getting a new set of tatas. Mm-mm. It's in your lymph nodes. That's what made me get my second opinion at UNC. That's what made us to become true advocates of our care. Because I will not, I promise you right now, I would not be here on Chemo Glow if I would have waited till I was 40. I didn't have a lump, you know? I went for a mammogram because I was moving to a new city, met this amazing husband, blah, blah, blah. And it took a nurse to say, she even gave me the two doctors to look at. She gave me Dr. Carey at UNC, and she gave me another doctor, and it slips my mind what that doctor's name is. He was amazing. Amos, Dr. Amos. He's no longer with us. Dr. Amos. Those two. So the fact that she told me that, that was behind closed doors. That was on a personal call. But I wouldn't be here if I didn't have that. But I would tell you, Jill, just keep doing what you're doing, keep connecting. I know how hard it is to stay in it, especially around your own appointments. And once you hit that 10-year mark, you're like, whoo, but that doesn't stop you from thinking about what's going on. So I would
Yeah.
definitely tell you, stay with it. Um, get in touch with those doctors, get a relationship with those nurses, and you guys are the resource for the families that are going through.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you
And
can get that
I do
caregiver
feel like
group up.
I do feel like I have a good rapport with the doctors
Mm-hmm.
and the nurse and everybody upstairs. It's just that, like, I would love to go into the room every Wednesday with every new
Mm-hmm.
patient, but
Yeah.
because they're already seeing so many people, they don't want anybody more. And I can't. Let me tell you, I'm not even on the bottom of the totem pole, honey. I'm underneath the totem pole. So I don't have much say, you know what I mean? And I don't I don't I try and talk to certain people who I think I can get through and get information to that can
Mm-hmm.
maybe do something more.
Yeah.
Um, but I personally I don't have any pull per se. You know what I mean? I'm just I
But what you
I'm
do have is that understanding of what's going on, and
and that's the one thing that really gets me what I get when I get it.
yeah, and you're I know you've been at the right place, right time to help someone out that was like, I didn't even know that this was here. I had no idea that this was here. And that's why I wanted to do the volunteering. That's why I wanted to make sure that I was a part of that, because people didn't have those things. You have to advocate for your own health care, because if you don't, no one else will. You can have a
Mhm,
great doctor. My husband told them, look, I know y'all have several people here, but I'm only talking about my wife at this time.
mhm,
That's all that matters in this moment.
mhm,
So keep doing what you're doing. And Jill, I cannot wait to do just a live with you. I'm
mhm.
so happy that you jumped in, and I can't wait to schedule a podcast so we can definitely chat it up. I know my V producer, Miss Glow over there, Miss Vanessa. I actually had her come on late just to chat with me. But I am so happy that you joined us, and we're definitely gonna come back and talk with you again. And thank you for showing up for Talania's 10 year. It was amazing.
Oh, it was a pleasure. It was such a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Mhm.
And one last thing before you go. Did you say your daughter was going to Harvard?
Yes, ma'am, honey, to get her
Yeah.
PhD.
Yeah.
What?
Congratulations.
Thank
Yes.
you. We are so
That's
proud of her. Let
a
me tell you that
great
that
accomplishment.
she graduated from the Naval Academy, and
Mhm.
she's kind of had a break in between. She had an accident. She had a really bad training accident her senior year at the academy, and had a mild TBI,
Dramatic. Mm-hmm.
traumatic brain injury, and
Mm-hmm.
but it has lasting effects.
Yes.
So she's had to have set a whole new set of goals.
Yeah.
And although since the third or fourth grade, she's wanted to go to Harvard because my mom graduated from Harvard,
Yes.
and she's just always wanted that, and she's always had that in her back pocket. But I think when the Naval Academy happened, it just was like so grand for her that she was like put that on the back burner, thinking that
Uh-huh.
her continuing education would be through the Naval Academy or
Yes.
the Navy or whatever. But yeah, we are just incredibly proud. She's starting. It'll be a 5-year program, and in
Mhm.
that 5-year program, she gets her master's and her PhD.
Thank
So we are
you.
just, and we've known for like a month, and she wouldn't let us tell because she got into BU, the same program at Boston University, but
Yeah.
she had to tell them first that she wasn't going. So I
Oh,
couldn't put
wow.
anything on Facebook until, we were allowed.
Well, I love her name too. So I love that.
I know you do, girl.
I
I
love
know.
Alex's name.
Is yours Alexandria or Alexandra?
Yeah, ours is just Alex.
Just okay, okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Alex has always been my favorite name. And
Mm-hmm.
I said if I had a boy, it'd be Alexander, but if I had a girl, it'd be Alexandria.
Yeah, so I love that y'all call her Alex. I love it, love it, love it. And
Yeah.
congratulations and thank you for joining us, Jill. And we'll definitely see
It
you
was-
next time.
Okay.
All right, thanks a bunch.
All right. We'll chat.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Well, V, we did it under 45 minutes.
Let's just chat.
Just because. Thanks, Vanessa, for taking that time. See, I told you somebody would jump in. So
Jocelyn should have jumped in too.
I know,
Jocelyn
right,
had a lot of good
Jocelyn?
information, feedback.
Yeah, next time, Jocelyn, I'll give her a heads up to jump in. But well, thank you for listening to Chemo Glow, where the glow doesn't define me, I define the glow. Make sure you check us out on the 27th when we come back with Cassandra Casanova. Life is meant to be lived. Check us out on all platforms. View us, like us, comment on us, and subscribe. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you. Until next time. Peace.
Bye,